Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hood, the amazing, the spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hood, and welcome back to the Baseball Hood, and hopefully you like this video. You know, the Mets have played so poorly. They showed a whole bunch of graphics during the end of the game against the Nationals. They're 22-36 now in their last 58 games. I guess that's since Cody Senga went down with an injury. And they've played so poorly. They have the fewest innings from a starting staff, and the third most innings from a reliever, from the reliever corps. You can't win that way. And in the last 8 1/3 innings, the Mets had 2 hits against one of the worst bullpens in baseball and only 1 walk. They made this bullpen look so good. They made them look like the 1990 Nasty Boys from the Cincinnati Reds. You know, been watching this team for many, many years, many decades, but I've never seen a team this inconsistent over the last 5, 6 years. And the inconsistency continues. The thing that makes good teams and bad teams is the consistency. And this team right now is a bad team. New York Mets are a bad team right now with this group. And it starts with the pitching because Manaea looked very strong the first 3 innings, but that 4th inning came around. It was like a different pitcher, hitting batters, walking batters, and you cannot win games when your starter can't go into and finish the 5th inning. It is impossible to win, and this bullpen is going to break. And it did tonight. I mean, certainly did today. I mean, he brought in Rogers, who's been okay, but he gave up a run. He gave up that first run in the 4th inning. I mean, the 5th inning, excuse me. The last run against Manaea. And then, of course, he gave up an extra run in the 6th inning. Raley pitched pretty good, but, you know, you cannot win games if your bullpen is this bad. I mean, if your rotation is this bad. Other than David Pearson has been a disaster here. Up and down. And now you're going to say, well, you know what? You should have signed Blake Snell. Blake Snell has not pitched all year. Well, they should have signed Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns has a torn UCL. He had to get Tommy John surgery. But they should have been a little bit smart about who they brought in here. Now, they did bring in Griffin Canning, who blew out his Achilles. That was a blow that we didn't think was going to happen when they signed him. But nevertheless, a lot of things to go through with this game. They had a shot in the 9th inning. Again, all they had to do is get through the 8th inning, and guess who came in? Ryan Stanek. He has to go. And I'm going to make a prediction within the next 10 days he'll be out of here. Because you can't keep having this guy come out here and blow up the games and give you no shot in the 9th inning. Or worse. He's been terrible. His fastball is terrible. Falls behind the count. Typical stuff of a reliever that is terrible. And he's terrible. Want to see him gone. He's got to go. Also, I would mention the offense comes and goes. And they're so unreliable as a group. And, you know, I'm sick of seeing it, to be honest with you. Been watching this for how many years? And to see this sort of up and down, up and down, up and down. Jeff McNeil is a great example. 2019, made the All-Star team. He was excellent. 2021, he struggled. 2022, won the batting title. From 23, most 23 was terrible. And up until the middle of last year, he was terrible. And he's been pretty good since. That is an example of the up and down nature of this team. And the weirdest thing is you don't normally see players. You'll see this from time to time with real quality teams and real quality players where they'll go through slumps together. But you don't see the depth, how deep the slump goes with these players, what this group does. I mean, Lindor goes through these 0 for 30s, these 0 for 25s. I mean, it's just insane. And, you know, obviously Pete being a power hitter, the power comes and goes. And, of course, we see Brandon Nimmo probably go through one of the worst stretches of his career. Also, they mentioned this. I saw the statistic. They are 5-16 in the last 21 games. You can't win. This is not a good team. This is not a playoff team. And I said this when they won on Tuesday. They had to sweep the Nationals. Okay, they couldn't lose. They couldn't win 2 out of 3. They had to sweep this series. The Nationals are terrible. I don't care how they've played over the last 12 games for them. They're 7-5 in the last 12 games. They had to beat this team. They had to sweep them. They had to. They had to get that game last night. That game was so important to the psyche of this team and the psyche of us, to be honest with you. And they failed last night. Failed. And the offense comes and goes. They did nothing against this bullpen. Mackenzie Gore, who's been a pretty good pitcher, pretty good starter, who's pitched well against the Mets at times. He didn't have great stuff today, and the Mets did nothing with him. I know that there was a lot of hard-hit balls, but you have to get hits. There was a lot of hard-hit balls in this game, but you have to fall in. You have to get hits. It's a result business, and you need to get the results. And the Mets are not getting the positive results that we need for this team to get to postseason. Okay? And I was saying this for a long time, that these teams, there's too many good teams in this wild card race this year. I was saying this back in May, in June, July. You got the Cubs, you got the Reds, you got the Brewers, you got all these teams, and you got the National League West with the Padres. You have so many quality teams in the National League. You had to win the division. I was saying this, and now they're falling so far behind now of the Phillies that the division's over pretty much. But I said for months they had to win the division so they didn't get in the muck with all these other teams. And now they're going to be playing these teams now. Next week they'll be playing the Phillies. Soon they'll be playing the Padres. Soon they'll be playing the Cubs. Soon they'll be playing the Reds on the road. It's going to be tough. I mean, the Mets are going to have a very difficult finish to this season. And then, of course, the Marlins. They face the Marlins at the very end of the season. But this is a very important stretch now. They got 35 games left. I do not have a good feeling about it. I don't cut it. I cut through the bullshit. There's a lot of people complain all year long. They don't stop complaining. This team's not going to do this, not going to do that. But I don't think this team's making it. Just based on the fact that, again, they can't beat the Nationals when they have to. You have to win these games. It is imperative that you win these games. And they didn't do it. They didn't get the starting pitching that they needed. Manaea clearly is compromised with the elbow. I mean, it's clearly obvious. That's the one thing about this team. This team is going to get younger next year. I mean, I don't want to really get into next year, but this team's going to be a younger team next year. We're going to have a whole bunch of guys on this team that aren't here going to be here. Marte's going to be gone. Taylor's going to be gone. Mullins is going to be gone. This bullpen is going to be a little bit different. And there are going to be some young starters in this rotation. And this team is going to be very different next year. But when you have an older team, they can be very inconsistent when they get older. And a lot of times they can't stay healthy. And when they get hurt, it takes a long time to get it going again. Pete obviously was dealing with an injury with his hand. He got hit on the hand. Lindor was dealing with that foot problem, that broken bone in his foot. I saw a video online, on X, of Juan Soto playing first base, and somebody told him, you better watch it with that, playing first because of your hand. There's an issue with his hand, and that might be a problem. That might have been why he's had a horrible year. I don't know. But look at Jeff McNeil, hurt with the shoulder. Brandon Nimmo, hurt. And these are guys all in their 30s. That's why I felt that this was a very important year for this team, because you have players in their 30s that are now starting to get onto the other side of their prime. Okay, Lindor is still in his prime. Nimmo is kind of almost out of his prime. Same thing with McNeil. But this team is but we go back to the pitching. If they don't get length out of the starters, you're not going to win. It's simple as that. Well, let me know what you think about this video. And, of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut, and I'll see you later.